Many Americans fixated on success spend millions of dollars each year trying to find it in self-help books and CDs and personal coaching. But Kurt Senske says true success comes from selfless acts of service to others. The author joins us today to talk about his new project, Call to Service, How to Discover Your Significant Life. Thank you so much for joining us, Kurt.
Valerie, Chuck, it's great to be here.
Well, this is a great time for you to be here because this is the first harvest show of the year 2011, and many of our viewers have made New Year's resolutions to be successful, to lose weight, to become rich, and you're saying something different here. You're saying that success is not predicated on those things.
Yes, in the calling, live a life to significance. What the design is not to find success, but rather to do something even more important, and that is to discover that life that God created uniquely for you and I, to go beyond success and to live a life of significance. I'm a big believer in combining biblical wisdom with the secular strategies that God has provided us to enhance our talents so that we can get beyond our ego and open our eyes to be of service to others day in and day out, each and every day. So you're right, this year, it's a brand new year. We're all making New Year's resolutions, and this year I think the resolution for all of us as Christians should be discovering that life and having the courage to live that life that God created uniquely for you and for me.
I've talked to people about success. I've talked about living the Christian life. We've done that many times here on the Harvest Show. And, there are some people who say, well, I'm not a Christian, but I'm wealthy, I'm successful, and I don't have to apply those principles. But yet you're saying that it comes directly, it's a God-centered roadmap.
Yes, and I think the Bible's very clear that God has created a life for each of us. For I know the plans in store for you, as the Bible shares with us. And what's interesting to me is even us as Christians sometimes, we don't think about proactively what God has in store for us day in and day out. Sometimes we think, all right, 5 years from now I want to do this, or 10 years from now I want to retire and go play golf in Phoenix. But the purpose of our life is to be of service to others as well as to worship God. And we're provided those opportunities day in and day out, not only today, but 5 years from now. And so the goal is to almost create two different lines. So one is to think about today, wake up today saying, who can I serve? Who has God placed in my path today? And then also, how do we continue to develop our talents that God's given us so that we can actually be of actual service to others in the future, 5, 10, 15 years from now?
But really, this requires a mindset change, because when most people make New Year's resolutions, it's, I want to do this, or I want to do this, and we have more eyes than a potato.
Yes.
And we've got to get past that to serving others, you say. How do we change our mindset?
Yeah, that's a great point. And oftentimes we think, as you just mentioned, Chuck, what do I want to do to be successful? As opposed to asking the question, how does God want me to serve today? I'm a big believer in self-help books. We all read them, right? But at the end of the day, self-help books are designed to fail on a couple of levels. One is because they teach us how to get what we want, not what God wants to give us. And two, because we are all sinners and saints, they're ultimately designed to fail. We're never going to live up to society's standards of wealth and power and beauty and success. But as Christians, we actually have a head start. We come to the line with our lives fused with meaning. And so we don't have to worry about the societal standards of success. All we have to do is think about and act out how we can become significant.
Okay, what is the definition for success? Because I've learned that it means so many things, different things to so many people. What is it?
Yeah, from my perspective,
yes,
it's living the life that God created uniquely for me today, as well as the rest of her life. And now the beauty of us as Christians is we come today forgiven. It's a brand new year, it's a brand new day. So no matter what mistakes we've made in our past, we get this opportunity for a do-over. And so we don't have to worry about societal standards of success. Yes, we need to pay the bills. Yes, we need to wash the dishes and change the diapers and take our kids in the carpool to school and all of that. But those are opportunities for us to serve. Those are opportunities to be the hands and the feet of Christ here on this earth, to actually live that life that He created us to live. And so we can move beyond worldly success. We can actually do what God intended us to do. And at the end of the day, what that provides us is that peace that transcends all understanding, which from my perspective is a phrase that means just that.
You talk about living a significant life, and I think most people say, well, how can I be significant? Because we're kind of trapped in our worlds and we have our circle of friends or whatever, but we don't see any impact that we can make that would be significant on a bigger stage. So how do we define significance in this?
You know, it's interesting because our lives are made up in many ways of a myriad of unsexy tasks that we do day in and day out. And what I urge people to think about is not think about significance in terms of getting that great job or having the perfect family, but rather to break it down in our daily tasks. And when we think about, as we wake up in the morning and turn our clock away from, all right, what's in it for me today, to who has God placed in my path to serve today, all of a sudden, all of the tasks that we have before us are significant, whether they're changing the diapers of our baby or taking our child to car school, in a carpool, or coaching the soccer team, or serving somebody at work, or being a mentor. All of those actually are significant because that's what God has asked us to do today.
Wow, well, we're going to talk some more about that. We'll be back in a moment with Kurt Senske and the meaning of success and significance.
Thank you.